talking about more of the habits that you have to develop. Uh, really outside of this whole sphere of, uh, mental, of, everything that goes into this, the skill, strategy, mental, those are really the main things. Other than that, what this journey is going to have to teach you guys more than ever is that you are going to have to develop habits outside of this whole thing. This thing doesn't even matter if you can't, look at the old version of yourself and say, you know, that guy, he is in the past. I don't know him. I don't want to be him anymore. I don't, care for him anymore. That is going to be a past and never again present version of what I want myself to represent, You are going to have to develop the habits of, anybody that becomes successful will develop, You have to develop a sense of discipline, a sense of urgency. You have to learn that patience is going to pay you. You're going to have to learn that, uh, just, doing the same boring things over and over again is going to be what actually results in you getting to the destination that you want. You know, you can try all these other things to, stay in the same habits that you have, but if your life sucks outside of this, it's going to directly translate. And hear me out, it's going to directly translate. And there is going to be nothing you can even do about it, bro. If you don't want to take physical action to be able to change habits that are shit within your life, whether you're not getting enough sleep, you're not going to the gym, you're not eating healthy, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not taking care of your skin, you're not taking care of your body, you know you're not listening to your actual needs, you're not going to be in the right mental space to be able to comprehend what you need to comprehend to be in a good state for learning, a good state for being calm and collected, and being able to get your thoughts down on a screen or get your thoughts down into a chart. You know, this world is so full of distractions right now that it is easy for the system to take over your sense of patience and your sense of thought. I saw this thing today, uh, and it was a tweet, but it said, men they often act with a sense of clarity or a sense of uh, I can't put my finger on the word of what I'm trying to think of right now, but they think before they do, and then they do what is the most logical in that scenario. And what you need to do is you need to get really comfortable with taking the most logical approach. You can definitely just quickly act on things, quickly do things, but if you're in this game and you're analyzing, which is really what you're doing, and you're analyzing patterns on a screen, then you need to be able to make the most calm, cool, and collected decision in that moment, and without being able to have good sleep, without being in the a great physical shape, without being confident in yourself, which will directly translate over to you being confident in your skill and your abilities, and then being able to eat healthy and feel good at the same time with those couple of things in direct correlation with each other, it's going to directly translate over and make you better right here in this whole zone, in this whole aspect of trading and being on the screens and making decisions based off of that. Your life is sucky right now if you're looking at yourself and you're saying, I'm a fat piece of shit. I'm just sitting in my room, wanting to, make bread. I need to make bread right now. I need to make money. Other people aren't in that same position as you, bro. I can sit here and I can say, I don't need to make the bread today. I can wait and I can wait out this shitty day that's not going to favor me in the markets if I try to enter into some shit like forcefully, and I can wait for a better opportunity to be able to make bread another day. You know, I'm not like that because I know that by being calm, cool, and collected, and having these habits of I'm in a good mental space. I don't need to be able to rush this. I don't need to be able to, make it right now, make it instantly, even though it's going to come hopefully a lot sooner than, what you would expect externally, but it's also going to take more time than what you think right now. And this I can't stress it enough. I'm going to say this over and over and over again. You know, this is what I used to hope to hear when I was starting out, but I had to search the internet for everything. But it's going to really be a process of making sure that you have these habits drilled into your head. You need to be calm and cool and collected, and seeing things on social media is going to make that a lot harder, and that's what the system tries to do to you. They try to show you the great aspect. It's great to look at that and be inspired, and want to aspire to get those things for yourself, but you are going to have to make sure that you are in the right mind space to be able to own and appreciate and take those things for yourself. And that all comes down from the habits that you build. You need to be able to build discipline, build, a schedule for yourself, build a good sleep schedule, build times that you go to the gym, and, build your day around this kind of skill. When I was starting out in this, there is nothing that would stop me from, learning this skill past the times that I would have like my 9 to 5 job or work, and then I'd have my morning blocked out. My morning would be just trading, waking up at 9 a.m., trading till 11, going to the gym, and then I would only work in the evenings. And then after that, or in between me going to the gym and coming home and then going to work, would be learning and then learning after. That was my schedule. That was the discipline that I had to build within myself to be able to, build the success into, building habits, into, making sure that the gym was always hit, making sure that the food was always eaten the correct way. I had to build a discipline of getting on my phone and getting an app to be able to track everything that I eat within the day, bro. I had to get an app on my phone to be able to track everything that I eat within a day and being able to track calories and shit. That's another thing that takes discipline and takes habits forming. It's something like you got to do a habit for ever so long, like probably like, I don't know, like 30 days before it comes routine. But you need to be really used to getting into a routine that you can follow and you can manage, that you can set your day in a certain way that you can, make this the full time thing, make this the 100%, you're living off of this thing. There's nothing that comes in between that, because, this is going to be a long journey that you're going to want to, turn into something that you can do long term. So if it's going to be your job, you need to treat it like that. You need to treat it like that with the schedule that you block out for yourself, and not letting distractions come into your brain and in your head and fuck up those routines and habits that you build. So if I can give you any homework for this, it's that you need to identify the habits that are keeping you in the same position that you are right now. The terrible habits that in the back of your head, you're like, yo, I shouldn't be doing this. This is probably keeping me back in some sort of way. You need to identify those and just look at how you can not do those. And that will push you so much further than, starting your greatest habit. Killing your worst habit right now is going to be so much more beneficial than just starting your most improving or impressive habit that improves your life the most, and that can be whatever it is, social media too much, not getting enough sleep, not eating healthy, not going to the gym, like I said, not being able to focus on something for a long period of time. Go read a fucking book if you can't focus on something for a long time. Fix your brain, fix your head, fix your mindset, because there's other people out there that will already do this. And the longer and longer that you do put this thing off, or put the thing off and say, I'll quit that tomorrow, or I'll stop doing that habit tomorrow. It's another dude that's going to come in, and he's going to instantly, within a second, he is ready, and he is going to take your spot. He's going to take your spot. And can't get up, it's like a little baby lyric. It's like, just know if you get up, then you may lose your spot. You know what I'm saying? So it is definitely a project of how bad do you actually want, and how bad are you willing to, or how far are you willing to go, literally. That's all it is, bro. That was a little 10-minute, mentality video. So hopefully you like that for this episode, and then you know we'll go back into some trading things. But keep these in your mind, and I give you homework literally to identify your worst habits and being able to kill them, and make sure that by the end of this series that you are done those habits, because that is probably what is keeping you held back, bro. Peace.